and get us a recording happening. Super duper. Okay, just minimize that. And we're good to go, and you guys are live everywhere.
All right. Good morning, listeners. Rumble, YouTube, X.
Indeed. All right, you ready? Here we go.
I'm ready when you are.
3, 2, 1. And welcome. It is Perilous World Radio. Jan Masters joining me, David Masters, today. Welcome, Jan.
Well, it's good to be here, David. Thank you.
So, current events, let's jump in. Lots happening in our country, especially in the state of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I wouldn't want to be one of those ICE agents for any amount of money in the world. But, you know, that is the nature of service, is that you find yourself in a lot of really strange circumstances and dangerous situations. And I was going to make a point that there are people now on the social media sites that are literally calling for, and I'm not, but many people, particularly on the deep blue left, are calling for civil war. And
Yes.
they are, many of them are actually willing to throw themselves in as fodder just to, create the emotional and psychological environment for people to go ahead and just throw themselves into a conflict. So
It looks like it's a hill they're willing to die on, it seems.
Well, it is. But okay, so this goes to the absence of meaning, in my opinion, in these people's lives. And you know what's funny is that a lot of them will make their crazy statements and then they'll say at the end, I don't know. And they'll repeat that because they really don't know. And at the same time, what we're looking at is what they're doing is as a reflection of what they're being prompted to do by their so-called leaders. Thoughts on that?
Well, to me, it's the spirit of hate, rebellion, anger. And a lot of times when you're angry and somebody asks, why are you angry? You don't even know why. You're just angry. The spirit of anger has you. And the spirit of hatred toward this country has been seeded and fed for so many years. The people who have been eating that message, they're just angry. And Trump represents Make America Great Again, and they think America represents evil in their mind. So what can you do? It's a state of mind, a state of emotion, and the left has always been able to play on the emotions of their people. And now it is at the height, and it's like everything's on the table. You have a lot of the left-leaning women who are now activated, and they're going nutso. So it's an emotional rebellion. Honestly, to me, at the bottom, at the foundation of it, it's a rebellion against God. That's really what it comes down to in my mind.
Yes, it is indeed a rebellion against God and good and reason. And what makes our country livable is the rule of law. I mean,
absolutely,
whether you like it or not, when somebody gets elected, I mean, we went through this already with Clinton, who was, he was a conservative compared to these other guys, but, and then Obama and then Biden. Oh my gosh. I mean, but did anybody do to Biden or to Obama what was done to Trump? Hide and wait for him with a rifle. Come on, this wasn't done by any of us on this side of the aisle. So at this point, I think people, though, generally on both sides, and I think this is a tipping point moment, because people are just sick of it. I mean, for weeks, we saw these insane people attacking police officers. And I had to make a point again about I like to watch police shows on YouTube. And it's amazing that the police will pursue somebody who's just stolen a car. Or last night I watched one where a guy was in he was an auto parts store and he stole some cans of paint. There were 3 or 4 policemen that pulled him over. He tried to escape on foot, and then he hemmed and hawed, and finally he admitted that he stole these cans of paint. But the point is that it's against the law. Now, it's against the law to try to stop a federal agent or a police officer from performing their duty. And yet we're sitting here observing we're watching history unfold in front of us.
Yes.
These people are getting away with crazy stuff, and nothing is being particularly done about it, other than there are a couple of circumstances in which the officers feel threatened, their lives feel threatened, and so they do what they feel they have to do, which is, in my opinion, it's been very measured. It's been very infrequent. I mean, just a few people, even though it's terrible and it's tragic that these people lost their lives, they brought it on themselves. Now, at this point, Trump has been communicating with Mayor Small Fry, and Tim Walz. And this is what is happening. Again, this is tape delayed, but pretty current. Let me play this clip.
Donald Trump's unconditional surrender. At least that's how many people largely see this. And boy, are Trump supporters pissed off. Well, you got a mix. You got some people who back Trump saying, what is this? You're pulling Bovino out. They're withdrawing their prosecution of Don Lemon. What in the world is happening? Trump says that he called Tim Walz and Mayor Frey, and they're going to have a conversation on how to work together. It looks like Trump is backing down.
Oh, Tim Pool, he's really got great analysis. He was a guy who was more like Joe Rogan. He was more on the left, and then as he observed the craziness of everything, he became a conservative thinker. Not traditionally conservative. He's a guy's a skateboarder. He owns a skateboarding company. But he's very sharp and he's very perceptive. He is just frustrated with Trump now.
Oh, interesting.
He's frustrated with Trump because he's saying that Trump is giving in.
Okay,
now,
wait.
What
has
he didn't
Trump
say?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, what he didn't say is that these guys, Bovino and other people who are involved in the operations there in Minnesota, are being sent to California. But go ahead, your thoughts.
So are you saying Trump agreed to pull out ICE?
Yeah, he's pulling some of his people, but they're being relocated.
Now, hold on. There were conditions. There are conditions on pulling out ICE. I saw something this morning or last night. The conditions are they have to turn over all of the illegal criminals. So is it a loss if you're getting what you want, which is what ICE went in there to do? So there were several requirements. Trump is, the art of the deal. Yep. So I trust his instincts here. He may be helping to ratchet down this Civil War narrative that's escalating, but in the long run, he's going to do what he has to do. And a lot of people on the right, like Wayne Allen Root and someone else I heard, was saying that Trump should learn from this to only send ICE to the red states that cooperate, make the red states bastions of American freedom. Where are the illegals going to go? They're all going to go to the blue states. And I'm sorry, we do have a blue state, but it would, and then at some point the blue states are going to implode and they're going to need help. And
Trump was saying that too, by the way. He says, you should have me come in. It'll make you look great.
Right. Yeah. So Trump's not done. I don't think that this is the white flag by any stretch.
No. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Mr. Jones about this, and I said I think that Tim has way overreacted. But,
Overreacted too early.
yeah, and not only that, but it is a sign of the times that people are so fed up.
So true.
And what happens is, though, it gets shifted from being fed up with the bad guys to being fed up with the good guys for not the perception of them not doing enough.
Yeah.
See, and so I got more clips of Tim Pool, and we got to take a quick break. Please go to FHU.com, find out about the Be Still and Know exercise, where you will realign with actual reality, because otherwise you're going to be in a reactive state. Be Still and Know is an exercise used by Patriot Outreach to help men coming back from the theater of war. We'll be right back. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. We're talking about the events, current events of what we are perceiving. Now, what we perceive, and again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I think your assessment, Jan, is really good. He's ratcheting down, and the optics. I mean, everything is about optics these days, right? The optics of a continuous presence that is gaining momentum on the left. This presence of rebellious anarchy and danger for our agents. I think he's doing the right thing. And here's the other thing that's important to note. Gavin Newsom is saying, bring it. Gavin Newsom has been screaming, come on, come and get me. Okay. Be careful what you ask for with Trump.
That's
because
right.
He's going to deliver. So
yeah, that's right.
Thoughts? Yeah.
I was trying to look up the requirements for pulling out of Minnesota. It says, let's see, they need the state's full cooperation with deportation efforts. Okay, we don't need ICE there if they're going to fully cooperate. Okay, Trump does this all the time, David. He doesn't rush in too soon. He gives you a chance to comply. Didn't he do that with Iran before he bombed them?
Biblical example. After watching The House of David, it made me really think. House of David on Amazon Prime, I think it is, that when Goliath was standing there for day upon day upon day yelling insults, it wasn't until David showed up that they actually had the confrontation. It went on for maybe weeks, right?
That's right.
So it was like it was a standoff. It's all it was. And God decided, okay, let's put an end to this. So he sent in little David. So I'm just saying,
that's right.
Sometimes a standoff is really what it takes in order to create a proper closure. Go ahead.
So remember before bombed Iran's bases or whatever?
Yeah.
He told them they had like 5 days, they had this many days, and they didn't do it. Okay. With the place where where we just took over, Maduro. Venezuela.
Yeah.
He warned them.
Yes.
Warning. And then he moved in. So right now, he is giving Waltz a chance to do the right thing, which I think is smart. You give the chance, and you don't just go in and start civil war. You say, okay, we're going to work together here. Here's what you need to do. And then if he doesn't do it, we'll see what the repercussions are.
Yeah. The interrogators, the people that go in to try to extract information from enemy combatants, before they get to the waterboarding, they try these other approaches of reason and being nice and offering them something to eat or drink. But then when there's no cooperation, that's when they ratchet down on these enemy combatants. But you have to look at Tim Waltz the same way. He's actually gone to the point where he's offering, what do you call it, a peace offering to Waltz. And I guarantee that Waltz is under so much pressure right now. If Trump's saying to him, you know what? We'll just sort of go easier on you if you just get out of the way and work with us. Don't you think that's what the conversation was about? We don't want to have you having to be put in jail and things of that nature. I'm
Right,
sure
right.
Trump is really strong in the way he
I can't
communicates.
stress enough. He's not pulling out without demanding something of Waltz. So we don't know what's going to happen if he does not comply.
Yeah. I
So, wait and
watched
see.
something on Netflix, a really interesting show, but it was about a cult. And they had this central leader who they had all these women there, and it's a very interesting story. I won't tell you, but
Is it a true
in the
story?
end- no, it's not a true
Okay.
story. Although it could be.
Because
I
there
mean, it's-
was a cult that involved a bunch of women.
Yeah.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, gosh. Okay, you tell me about it and I want to look it up.
Well, in the end, the guy was going to commit suicide because he said to the policeman who finally caught up to him, "Hey, I've lived like a king. I've been a god to these people. And gods don't rot in prison cells." And I think these people like Waltz and Chuck Schumer, they have a god complex because in a strange way, there's no accountability for these people. They're like little fiefdoms with little kings. And they are the ones who say, well, no kings. Well, Trump isn't being a king. He never
Right.
has. He's actually serving the people of this country. But that's the idea, is that these people, they really think that they're kind of above it all. And ultimately, I mean, in the bigger picture, in the forever picture, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to be them,
Yeah.
no matter what.
So the cult I was thinking about, it's NXIVM.
Oh,
It-
yeah,
it
I
was
heard
a
about that.
Cult where women were branded like cows, treated as slaves, subjected to corporal punishment.
Yeah.
And then and there were some famous people in there.
I think there's a Netflix documentary on that, isn't
Ah, probably.
there? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one little pipsqueak. But isn't it weird how people surround themselves with compliant, supportive, and enablers? For whatever reason, they get to be close to the Godhead, the small G Godhead. And,
Well,
I can see how people attract. It's like moths to a flame. If you
well,
know
you
what I
just said it. The Godhead. We are born to look up to the Creator God.
mean.
And if we don't have Him, we are going to do that with people. It happens all the time. People, that disconnection, that, lost from families, disconnected, you have to have something in your life you look up to and worship. That's the basis of cults.
That is absolutely right. And what we have and especially when they don't appreciate the rule of law because they're used to making them and allowing other people to get away with things and playing this little small G God and turning their back and then having that, stolen money recirculate around back to them so they can continue doing their thing. They're used to getting away with it, but ultimately, see, and this is why people are concerned. People like Tim Pool are overreacting because he's expecting Trump to go in with a heavy hand and do what needs to be done. And Trump is being very judicious. He's being very diplomatic, as usual, even though it's not the outcome that people like Tim Pool want. The right thing is going to happen. Quick break here. FHU.com is where you find out about the Be Still and No exercise. And we'll take a break and be right back. Okay, I'm going to play some more of Tim Pool. Starting in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. We're looking at the situation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minnesota. Funny accents, but there were a lot of. There used to be, I think, Swedes in Minnesota, and now it's mostly Somalis. But not the issue.
Do you remember the article that came out where the Satanists gave Tim Waltz like a plaque,
Yep.
and it's hanging in there.
It was a plaque of Baphomet, which is a baby Satan.
Yeah. So we know that state is being staked out by the enemy.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in there. That's why I think you're seeing such, Civil War-like action there.
Agreed. So I've got some more clips of Tim Pool, which I think are
Okay.
worth playing. And I do not agree with him, but he makes good points. So here it comes.
I think that what's happened is he's actually grown tired, and he can't handle this. He just can't. Now, to be fair, I gotta cut him some slack. I'm largely just being emotional. Fair point. Gotta cut him some slack because Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't resolve all of the crises affecting this country overnight. Especially when the issue with Don Lemon was that a judge blocked the DOJ's efforts. But come on. It's just, if you lost, you lost. Okay, Trump, if you lost, you lost. I'd respect him more if he came out and said, we are paralyzed and incapable of doing anything. I'd respect that more. All we see is Trump not taking it seriously.
No, I don't think so.
You can't win all the battles. You lose some battles, you win the war.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If they've acquired a relationship, no matter what, with the governor and the mayor, and they're going to do some of what needs to be done, good. We got other bigger fish to fry, honestly, because they're not going to walk away from the investigation of these billions of dollars that disappeared. They're not going to walk away from that. And there are limitations because courts get involved and all the rest of it. So, yeah, what do they say? Pick your battles. I think this is a good move on behalf of Trump.
So one of the people on the chat here says they are pulling out Border Patrol agents and not ICE. ICE agents are responsible for enforcing our immigration laws. The Border Patrol was being used to provide security for the ICE agents. So, I'm not 100% sure on all that. It says ICE will still be required to pick up the illegal criminals who are currently in the Minnesota jails, but not being handed over for deportation. So, it's a work in progress there, and I think it was to de-escalate myself.
Well, I think that's important because the left is nothing more than a Venus flytrap. And that is that when a fly lands on it, it closes. And that's how those people think. When they get a response to an idea, they just do what they're going to do. They don't even know what they're doing. And Jesus said this, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, I think that and again, I went back and I looked at the Aramaic. It means release them, untie them, so they can see what they're doing. The average person, as you were saying earlier, when they get angry, they don't know what they're doing. And these people function because they don't have a relationship with the higher power. And they can say that they go to church and they love God and all the rest of it. But, you shall know them by their fruits. Isn't that what the Bible says?
Yep, it sure does.
So I do think that people like Tim Pool are really super overreacting, but it's worth considering what he's saying because he's making some interesting points.
There's a lot of people on the right. We talked before about this fracture that's happening that is starting to get really mad at Trump. They want him to do certain things. And honestly, he brings up Rome wasn't built in a day and you can't solve all of America's problems at once. But he's not only dealing with America's problems, but the global problems. You know what I mean? Could any one of us do what he's doing? My gosh.
Well, but the world is responding better to Trump than we are in this crazy country.
Totally.
I mean, you know why? Because those people in leadership positions respect strength. That's what they use. Even if it's improper strength in their worlds, they still respect proper strength because they know that real strength overcomes fake strength. Talk about fake news, fake strength.
And did you see he put out a new warning to Cuba today?
I didn't see that.
Yes, and him and Marco Rubio were speaking about it. He's got a plan. He's got a plan to to break the communist countries within America's, close proximity. And it's a pretty ambitious and bold plan.
I don't think people realize how close we came to losing our country. I mean, we were hanging like a loose tooth by a thread.
And we're still in treacherous territory, David.
We are. We truly are.
We have to count on him succeeding.
Well, that's the other thing is that now I'm going to play another clip from Tim. Here it comes.
Because all of this has been miserably bad. The people around him, once again, miserably bad. And I am shocked to see open insurgency in the state. And Trump basically saying, we're going to reduce our footprint here. We're going to back away. Not today. So I'll say this. You don't always want a storm the gates trampling, right? It could be that Trump's efforts in other states have been so successful, Minnesota doesn't really play all that big a deal anymore. It's not that big a deal, right? So the fraud's going to continue, the billions of dollars in fraud, and the state can be an open insurgency with Democrat officials leading the charge, and Trump can do nothing about it. Maybe the idea is attrition, that they've already deported enough people that they're going to lose a congressional seat. We'll see. I think the writing's on the wall and everyone can tell. Republicans are going to lose the midterms. Let's take a look at some of the reactions here, first and foremost. Moral and political debacle. Wall Street Journal nukes Trump over Alex Preddy shooting. Now, I got to agree. It was a miserably stupid move from Bovino and Bondi to be like, he was going to massacre people.
Yeah, again, this is emotional. This is not rational thinking. They're all bad. They're not bad. They're good people. And you know what? Let me tell you something, and you probably have experienced this too, Jen, is that you could be as good as you could possibly be. I mean, if you walked on water, how many people would say, how you doing that? Boy, that's a good trick. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. There are going to be people whose expectations.
Well, David, the perfect example is the Pharisees and Jesus.
Yeah.
Healed people, and they found fault with it.
That's it.
You can't do this on the Sabbath. Yeah. Instead of being absolutely amazed at what God did through this man, see, because people in seats of power do not want to lose the power. And when he walked around doing the will of the Father, obviously, and people being drawn to him, what they saw, the Pharisees saw, was we're losing our power. They're following him, and we need to get rid of him.
That's why they got rid of Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
He was in line to be a president.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing everybody say, or at least a vice president in the next election. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, when you have true authority, that threatens the entire false construct.
Yes.
It just starts to fall apart, like it is. Like it's been doing all over the world.
That's right. So should we be surprised at what happened with the Pharisees? The power structures always seek to preserve themselves over what's right and good and true. So, I mean, it's what happens in politics and religion.
But, the other thing is that the rationalizations and the spin from even rational thinkers like people like Tim, he has an equal measure of anger in opposition to the anger that he sees.
There's a lot of that out there today.
You know what I'm saying? He's angry because they're not going in and doing the absolute, they're not bombing, Minneapolis like they did Iran. That's what he was expecting. And that's what I'm talking about, expectations.
David, it's so easy to sit in our living room and be an armchair quarterback for Donald Trump. He should do this. He should do that. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy. But when you're in that seat and you have to make the decisions, it's not quite so easy because you're weighing many things. And the American people, we can get emotional about it, but the bottom line is we have to know that even Trump is not in charge of how this all plays out. It's God. It's his will and it's his plan. And people are either going to be in line with it or they're not. And it doesn't always happen when we want. All throughout the scriptures.
Or the way we want it
or the way we want it.
Yeah.
Noah had to wait 100 years for the rain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Abraham, I don't know exactly, but it was like 15 or 20 years before the promise of Isaac, maybe even more. God gave him a promise. He had to wait. And in that waiting, he made some mistakes because it wasn't happening fast enough. Well, let's do it this way.
See, that's the whole thing of expectations, is that even if you have a promise, you're thinking, when's it going to come? When's that going to happen? And then you get impatient.
That's it right there.
And then that starts to drive you literally away from the very thing that's designed to save you.
Well, if God makes a promise, is it up to you to make it happen? Or are you just going to stand firm and yield to his will? That's the challenge for all of us, and that's what's happening right now. We want it now. We want it now.
The way it works is you have to be able to see your own will and not yield to that. Because if you can't see your own will at work, you won't see the devil in those details. Okay, we got to take a quick break. FHU.com, your tax-deductible donations keep this program going. FHU.com or P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. Please make sure that you keep this program on the air if you get anything from it, and we'll be right back. All right, in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're looking at a lot of the nuances, and I want to take issue with Tim Pool because I don't think that the people surrounding Trump are failures at all. I think that they are doing the best they can under difficult circumstances. I mean, look at what, again, we were like a loose tooth. I mean, we almost lost this country to the dark side. And here are these people coming in like Terminators, the Terminex, the exterminators for bugs. You can't just get all the bugs out in one fell swoop. It takes time.
And, there's no guarantee that everyone around Trump has pure motives. There's always a few in there. You know what I mean? But for the most part, hopefully, I think he's got a much, much better team with Rubio. And I like, that whole scenario. But, man, that's a position not many people could fill.
Here's the thing. Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat. Trump,
yes.
Former Democrat. Kennedy, former Democrat.
Yes.
Look at all these people that came over out from, the spy that came in from the cold. These are people that came over the line to reason and logic and principle. I think they're very good principled people. I don't think that they are involved in anything dark. They're human. They're all human. But just think about what courage it takes to cross that line.
Oh,
it's like
so
going
true.
over the wall in Germany. What is it? Where people
Berlin
cross
Wall.
the wall. The Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
They came across the Berlin Wall of ideology.
It is not easy. You step away from people you've known and loved you, and now you're having to make a stand for them.
You
and
see what Kennedy's family did to him?
Yeah.
RFK, they threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
After all the tragedy that family has gone through, it's unthinkable to me. Unthinkable that they couldn't see that America could be better off with him as HHS. I'm just saying there are people who will. And here's the other thing. The idea is that the average person who has distanced themselves from truth, they think that they have the truth, they define the truth. But the problem with those people is that they don't ever want to admit that they could even be wrong. And so that's the first part. But then they'd rather be dead than wrong. And then they are both at some point in their life. They're both dead and wrong because they lived the wrong life and it caught up to them.
Well, Jesus said, I didn't come to bring peace, but a sword. And it will divide. The truth will divide. For the longest time in this country, it was all very, I've said before, like gray. And now the separation is happening and it's becoming black and white. You gotta make your stand. And if that means crossing over from Democrat to Republican, that's what's happening. It's not about the labels anymore.
Well, it is, because let's just say, I'll use a pack of cigarettes. Cigarettes will cause cancer, but they put a warning on it. Well, does that actually change the equation? How many people don't smoke because of the warning on the label? So cigarettes cause cancer. Poison kills people. And Democrats, they try to repackage themselves all day long, every day. It's still what it is. It's still socialism, and now verging over into full-blown communism. Communism kills people. Democrats believing in dark left-wing ideology, that causes human suffering.
It's a religion, David.
It is. And so when you come over to the truth, you leave all of that behind because it's detrimental to humanity. So yes, your label, I think your label does. It's like saying to yourself, it's like saying, I'm a Christian. If you're really a Christian, can you live principles that don't align with that idea? It would make you a hypocrite. Labels do matter. Labels do matter, and depends on how you identify yourself really matters.
But what I'm saying is, a lot of people are going beyond the label, like the Tulsi and RFK Jr. It's like that label doesn't fit me anymore, and I have to make a risky move here.
I'll make a point. Mitch McConnell, Rhino, Republican in name only. See, and RFK.
The labels are deceiving.
He's a dino. He's a Democrat in name only. He wasn't really a Democrat. He was a Democrat until he saw the truth, and now he became a conservative. But my point is that there are varying degrees and layers of people who are involved, and the label. There's all kinds of ways of interpreting a label. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes those labels can be deceptive purposely. And so for Mitch McConnell to call himself a Republican, it's a lie. For RFK to call himself a Democrat, that wouldn't be true either.
But you have to realize something, David.
You're saying that.
Yes, but the Democrat Party, the foundation of the Democrat Party changed over time. It wasn't this evil before.
That's true.
They say this isn't the Democrat Party, your grandma's Democrat Party.
True.
They used to love America. But it has been infiltrated and changed, so it's not the same Democrat Party.
I'm reminded of when Ronald Reagan, the assassination attempt on his life, and Tip O'Neill, who was the Speaker of the House, went and sat in his hospital room with him every day because they really loved each other.
Yep. See, it's not about the labels, and when you think it's about your label, then you're really limiting yourself.
And you're stupid. If it's just a label, it's like Gucci or Walmart. I mean, that doesn't define who you are. But if you let it define who you are, man, how shallow can you be? All right, quick break here. That's the end of this hour. Stay with us. We're going to continue this. I got more Tim Pool. I've got Roy Masters talking about don't listen to the words in your head. All that, and find out more about what we do at FHU.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And welcome to Perilous World Radio. Jan Masters joining me, David Masters, today. Jan, it's always great to have you here. So we're talking about the dynamics at play. The podcaster Tim Pool has, in my opinion, way overreacted to the idea that ICE is being relocated to California to go ahead and address the greasy, slimy creature, Gavin Newscum, because Gavin has been yelling at Trump, "Come get me." He wants to be some kind of strange martyr. He wants to be able to go into a war with Trump personally. What do you think?
Sounds like that's kind of interesting, almost like there's a trap or something.
I know. It's weird. He's a weird guy. Did you see him in Davos with the knee pads?
No.
Oh yeah.
Knee pads?
He brought knee pads. And of course, what knee pads represent for him is people getting on their knees and,
worshiping.
Well, more than that. It was a twisted representation.
He was wearing them?
No, but he held them up, and guess what? They were Trump signature knee pads. So for anybody,
saying basically people, are going to worship you or whatever.
Yeah, and worshiping Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really, he's like a monkey in the zoo throwing its poop. Come get me.
He's
stop
triggered.
me from throwing
he's triggered.
He's out of his mind. That guy. He's evil. When I see that, I see the devil incarnate. That's what I see.
Yeah, very, very slimy individual.
Very slimy. So I want to play another clip of Tim Pool because he's triggered. Tim Pool is triggered. Here he comes.
You people are miserably bad at your jobs. And I don't think Trump has the capacity to handle this anymore. Sorry, maybe J.D. Vance will be a Lincoln. Maybe not even Vance. I don't know. Someone who's going to come in and just with clarity and lucidity and be like, the boot comes down now. But Trump seems to be just exhausted and incapable. So there you go. It's funny because the left complains for the other reasons. They say he's Hitler. Oh, please. Please. Yeah, right. So the Wall Street Journal says, give up. Daily Mail says, Kristi Noem given humiliating new role by Trump after summit with ICE maiden over deadly Minnesota meltdown. Yeah, Kristi Noem's being reassigned to the southern border, effectively. Trump apparently was grilling her, roasting her. Tom Homan was ordered to take over the Minnesota crackdown. Despite the fear, Noem is expected to keep her job for now. Noem's law enforcement ally on the ground, Greg Bavino, was also withdrawn.
Okay, now I got a question for you, Jen. How do you know that a newspaper is lying?
When they're writing something?
That's right. You're reading it, right? When you're reading it, you know they're lying. Every single thing that the left does and the news, and Wall Street Journal is no better. I don't care if they're owned by Fox News Corporation. They got a bunch of deep blue, dark blue meanies in there. They are always going to find a way to spin everything to make people look bad that they are in even some small disagreement with. That's what Tim Pool is reflecting here in these articles that he's citing. And maybe there is some discussions that are going on, but it's not the way that it's being depicted.
It's very easy to skew things the way you want them to appear.
You know what? Even between just two people.
Yeah.
He said, she said.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
I mean, look at your two kids that run up to mom and dad and have a totally different story, right?
There it is right there. It's so true. How many times you dealt with that, huh?
Exactly.
God. Oh, let's see here. Let's continue because, it's funny. I'm enjoying disagreeing with him because mostly his analysis is very good. Here comes another one.
To be fair, a changing of the guard isn't necessarily the worst thing imaginable. Is Tom Homan going to go in and put the boot down is the question. Well, based on the narrative that we've seen so far, the left is celebrating. And this is a massive morale victory for Democrats. Let's put it like this. Is it that Bovino and Noem failed? Yes. Trump is routed. An utter defeat resulting in his need to bring in someone else. And the left is celebrating. The reason why this is so awful, so bad, is that we're seeing active organized insurgency from the left, and now they see it worked, and Trump is backing off. There's a viral.
Here's a funny thing. They don't see what actually is going on. And just like when Trump was going to go in and drop bombs on the Iranian nuclear facilities, you know why that was successful? For one reason, Jan. Because there wasn't a single leak. That's right.
Yeah.
There was
true.
no leaking at all.
So it
And so
may
with-
appears to be some way. That's why I said it ain't over till it's over. And maybe it was a little bit of a pivot, because you know what, David? Sometimes you do have to pivot, even if it looks like you're losing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe things didn't go the way Trump liked it, so he's pivoting a little bit.
Well, wait a minute. You've made a really important point. When the devil came and dragged Jesus into the tomb, it looked like the devil had won.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It looked like it. Oh, he's gone now. No,
Exactly
not at all. He
right.
started doing his best work at that point.
Let the left celebrate. We don't. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what happens, as Trump says.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and
But-
celebrate for a minute.
The overreaction. You see, this is what we all have to look at in our own selves, is like, because we don't, the eye has not seen, the ear has not heard. This is all biblical, what Trump is doing, by the way.
Yeah.
The things that God has in store for those who love him. So it only appears that these bad things are actually triumphing, when in fact, they're about to be defeated. But it's not
Right.
you can't necessarily know. You have to. He's like David and Goliath. Hello, David goes out with a slingshot. Goliath has got all of his armor and his spear and his sword. David's got nothing but a slingshot and a rock. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you believe in God,
and God,
if you believe in God, you better get down off your high horse and get humble, because you're only going to be able to withstand what's coming in this new world that we're going to live in without the kind of overreaction that we're hearing. People are bad, they're failing, they're being reassigned, there's arguments. No, it's, arguments are part of progress, believe it or not. Disagreements
well, David,
are part of progress. Yeah.
the birth of our country came
There you
out
go.
of very sophisticated arguing, not
Yes.
emotionally, but presenting a case for things until these nuggets of truth come forward. And it's like, there's one right there. We put that in our Constitution. That is supposed to be why you argue, to find the truth. And when everybody puts their perceptions and their knowledge on the table, the truth should stand out. It should be obvious. And isn't that what it says? That these freedoms are self-evident. What is it? I'm
We
forgetting.
hold these truths to be self-evident.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
That's the point.
Yeah. I remember reading the book written by Thomas Jefferson many, many, many years ago, decades ago, on the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the book was probably 300 pages of the reasoning and the thought that went into the Constitution. See, there's so much more that goes into things than meets the eye. Nobody really understands. You know that the average automobile has 40,000 parts. Now you look at it as a
Wow.
whole,
Right.
but the average car has 40,000 little bits and pieces that make it go down the road. And it's amazing how effective the attachments of those things are to one another. Just think about all of the engineering and the thought behind it. This is what we're watching as America is reconfigured.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got to take a quick break here, and we'll continue this. FHU.com, please don't put it off anymore. Support the foundation. Your donations, tax deductible, PO Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528, or FHU.com. And the premium side of the website has amazing content. We'll be right back. What were the papers that Thomas Jefferson? It was a
Oh, I can look it up real quick.
Thomas Jefferson's book. I can't remember. That was the. Somebody will know on the.
I'm looking
on
it
the
up
chat.
too.
Yeah.
Multi-volume. It says here, The Papers of Thomas Jefferson is a multi-volume scholarly edition. It's a collection, but maybe there's just a different name of the book.
Yeah.
It's not the Thomas Jefferson Papers, is it?
No.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it. I read most of the book. This was 25 years ago, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Somebody will know.
Let's see. Here's some books. Thomas Jefferson, The Art of Power. Jefferson and His Time.
It was about the Republic.
Okay.
Which we call it a democracy, and it's just a lie.
That's right.
Not a democracy.
That's right. All right, let's see if that gets it. A Revolutionary Friendship, Washington Jefferson. No, that doesn't sound like it. I'm having a hard time finding it.
Oh, well. Okay.
Hmm.
It's okay.
The Republic of Letters. Correspondence. That's correspondence between Jefferson and Madison.
Yeah, it's not. It'll pop out later on today.
Yes, it will.
Okay. I've forgotten which segment we were in. I guess
we're going on to number 2.
Okay, excellent. All right, in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. Oh boy, having an interesting conversation today. But the idea here is this, that when we are watching the unfolding of a new reality, because that's what it is, we have been subject, we were like in the Matrix until we woke up. We started waking up, and I heard somebody say that the Republican Party was on the shoulders of Donald Trump for the last decade, which is true. He redefined what it means. And the idea is that we're not living in a democracy. We're living in a sort of democratic republic, but the democratic part is small compared to the republic, because the republic is about the rule of law. And this is what the scumbags and the anarchists in Minnesota wish to dismantle. They don't want to live by the naturalistic laws. The naturalistic laws, by the way, are put in place by God. And then they are put into, how can I say it? They're put into use by humans, naturalistic law.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this country basically is operates from, until you get these evil judges that operate outside of the naturalistic laws. But these are the unnaturalistic laws. These are the dark side laws that say, it's the satanic Bible that these people use, but they twist everything around an idea like the ACLU, freedom and liberty and blah blah blah, but it can also be used. Just think about it. It can also be used. Evil can be used as if it's good.
And we're seeing right now, given and taken everything that's going on.
The Federalist Papers.
Oh, the Federalist Papers. There you go. There you go. All right. Why we're seeing right now why the globalists and the left was trying so hard to get rid of Trump and kill him. Because he is not one of them. He's not one of the rhinos, and he's not one of the lefties.
That's right.
Because every time somebody gets elected president, they are the puppet. And I believe George Bush even admitted that to someone, that when you're sitting in that chair, you're still a puppet of all the shadow government that's behind you. But Donald Trump did not play the game, David. He is playing a completely different game. He is He is changing the map of the world. He is changing politics as we know it. He is really an America First and a founding father type of person, even though his personality is quite bodacious and braggadocious. He's not perfect, but what he's doing is setting up America to succeed and to continue on, because right now at this time in our history, this is when, nations fail. They Rome fell, and he's trying to come back to the foundations. And guess what? He's a builder, isn't he? Rebuild America on a sturdy foundation.
Well, wait a minute. Remember, Build Back Better? Wasn't that Hillary Clinton?
I think it was, no, it was the last guy.
Obama?
Oh, no, the Sleepy Joe. Joe Biden was Build Back Better.
Joe was,
wait, unless it was Kamala's thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever,
either,
it was one of theirs.
That idea, though, is that they want to take what we have, tear it down, and build it back better to them, to their idea, not to what is actual true or right or good. So, they're all builders and they're all demolishers, because Trump is literally demolishing the Matrix. Did you see the whole trilogy of the Matrix?
I believe I did.
So in the third Matrix, Neo confronts the architect.
Oh, interesting.
With all those TV screens. Okay. But see, there is an architect.
Yes.
There is an architecture to reality itself. And this is where it gets really weird, because scientists are trying to hack the architecture of reality so they can make something new.
Oh, boy.
This is not good. This is not a good thing. Not a good thing. But this is the dark side. The dark side wants to reconfigure reality in its image. God created man and humans in his image. The dark side wants to recreate man
in
and
its
humans.
image.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, there is finagling.
So if we, we see all these things going on with America and nations around the world, it's like an earthquake. But if you go up 100,000 feet, you go, well, what is this all about anyway? What's it for? Is it so America can be prosperous and just go back to the way we were? Just a selfish, hedonistic nation? No. If you read the scriptures, God is always addressing the nations, well, the nation of Israel for sure, and the leaders of nations. But Israel, even though they were his chosen people, he had to let them go into exile and suffer for a time because they weren't honoring him anymore. And this is what happens with America. America became a very hedonistic nation, and so we got to suffer. We got to suffer until we turn back to him. That's really ultimately the point of everything. No matter what's going on in the world and in your country, are you leaning into God and his purpose for you and being part of solutions around you?
Amen. My friend Al on the chat says, is Trump being guided? I think so. I think that Trump was chosen. I think that, many are called, but few are chosen. Well, if you choose the wrong leaders, you follow them down the path to hell. And see the danger, and this is why Tim Pool is upset, because he thinks that Republicans are going to lose the midterms. Then the left is going to come and impeach him, and they're going to stop every bit of progress that we've seen, and they're going to push it back. And so this is a dangerous time. It's truly a dangerous time in our country. Very dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because
the enemy is sort of backed into a corner. And what happens when somebody gets backed into a corner? They will do... Yeah. They will go nuts crazy doing anything, right?
The claws come out.
Yeah, so we do have to be careful.
All right, we got to take a quick break here. What part of FHU, Foundation of Human Understanding, do you not understand? Because that's what we have, and my dad spent his whole life laying out understanding for people to understand where you are, where you shouldn't be, and how to get where you want to be. If you will go to FHU.com and explore, you'll find something there that will change your life. FHU.com, we'll be right back.
Janet on the chat. I have not seen the cartoon you're talking about, but I'll check it out.
Yeah. Okay, this is segment 3. I'm going to come back with a Roy clip.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I've taught you a few things. What have you learned this evening so far?
That I don't listen to the spoken word inside of my head, whether it's coming from emotion to doubt or even if it appears more logical and sensible. The
That's
spoken
right.
word is what is deceiving me or undermining.
And that's how. And by the way, if you could just learn to hold your ground under fire when people are intimidating you with language and spoken words or their behavior.
It's my own mind. It's never other people.
But there is another people factor.
Okay.
I assure you that there is. That's the reason why you're in the state of mind.
All right.
Because remember, people have a way of affecting you in a way that you may not have realized. There's certain people you resent, and anyone you resent, anyone that can make you resent them, can have the effect of making you trust them more than your own common sense.
You know what I've noticed about Trump, and I've mentioned this before, but you notice how hard it is to fluster him?
Yeah. Very
It's almost
rare.
like he has a
Very
resentment
rare.
shield.
Yeah.
He has a shield around him that just, it doesn't matter what people say about him.
He had
And
one
if
weak moment last week, David, where he flipped off somebody.
No, I think that was
It was
funny.
it
I
was
thought
funny.
was-
But yeah, it's true. He they call him Teflon Don, I think, because he's just, I don't know. I think he just has been gifted that strength to walk this journey, because it's.
But I think that this also in him comes from, we were talking about how he is chosen. It comes from his chosenness, from the mission that he was given, and the acceptance and the embrace of that mission is like when somebody literally tries to blow your head off
Mhm.
and you survive that, nothing else really has much impact. The
Right.
things that people say, you just know that you were that far away from being dead.
Right.
And he believes, and I know that he has this vision that he was spared for a reason.
Yeah. I do believe that we need to pray for him. That we need to
Absolutely.
pray for him, because he's just a man and he's susceptible, and even people who are called can fall. And you watch the House of David with King Saul, when he did so much, but then it was all about him and he had to be demoted. So we just have to pray for Trump to be grounded and not fall.
Well, and there's another from the House of David, from the story of David, when King Saul was after him, trying to kill him.
Right.
And he and David and his people were in the cave, and Saul went in to relieve himself.
Mm-hmm.
David could have killed him. He was absolutely vulnerable. And what he did was he cut off a piece of his robe,
That's
his
right.
kingly robe, which was the demotion.
Interesting.
Is when he discovered
That's right.
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he knew then that David could have
Yep.
killed him. He had him.
That's right.
That was a very interesting.
You see,
thing
I
that
think this
happened.
is what Trump just did with Tim Walz. Now, here's another clip of Tim Pool complaining about it, but
Okay.
it's interesting.
Post going around from Eric Schwalm. Some are arguing that it's AI generated, but this post is massively viral with 32.8 million views. And this individual, Eric Schwalm, appears to be a real guy. Here's what it says. As a former special forces warrant officer with multiple rotations running counterinsurgency ops, both hunting insurgents and trying to separate them from sympathetic populations, I've seen organized resistance up close, from Anbar to Hellman. This pattern is familiar. Spotters, cutouts, dead drops, disciplined comms, role specialization, and a willingness to absorb casualties while bleeding the stronger force slowly. What's unfolding in Minneapolis right now isn't protest. It's low-level insurgency infrastructure built by people who've clearly studied the playbook. Signal groups at 1,000 member per cap zone. Dedicated roles, mobile chasers, plate checkers, logging vehicle data into shared databases, 24/7 dispatch nodes, vectoring assets, salute-style reporting. That is size, activity, location, unit, time, and equipment. On suspected federal vehicles, daily chat rotations and time deletions to frustrate forensic recovery. Vetting process for new joiners, mutual aid for synthetic locals. Home-based coordination points. Rapid escalation from observation to physical obstruction or worse. This isn't spontaneous outrage. This is C2, command and control with redundancy, OPSEC hygiene, and task organization that would make an SF team sergeant nod in recognition, replace ICE agents with occupying coalition forces, and the structure maps almost one-to-one to early stage urban cells we hunted in the 2000s.
Now, it's interesting what he was saying because he is identifying the tactics being used by the left in Minnesota.
True.
I think Minnesota is a staging ground for a bigger conflict that's on sort of looming on the horizon.
Yes. And they there was a person on the right who tapped into their communications. Did you know that?
Yes.
Tapped in and heard, the organization that they have. So yeah, this isn't just a spontaneous thing.
Giving
this
instructions.
Is, yes,
giving instructions in real time.
Highly organized.
Highly organized. So again, what are we witnessing? Well, people who are intelligent enough to understand and intuit what's going on. We don't understand because like I said, I like to watch these cop shows, and the cops have a lot of range of ability to apprehend. The ICE agents, obviously, they have a different task. They're there to get people who have already been given eviction notices from court. And they already have a criminal record. These people they're not just protesting. They are in an open rebellion against the United States. And people like Tim Pool who watch this say, he's given up. Trump has given up. He can't handle it. He's tired. He's worn out. No, he's pivoting is what he's doing. But we're tempted all the time. Think about it. We are tempted to give up on our own lives.
Yeah.
How many people give up on themselves first and then everything else second?
Well, this is true. One of the chatters says Waltz and Fry are involved in what Poole is talking about. That's why their tone has changed. They've been found out. Oh, yeah. Waltz.
Interesting.
I believe that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's provable. But the idea is, well, let me play the last Tim Pool clip and we'll continue.
This is 100% correct. What we have seen from these signal groups, I have friends who've worked in OPSEC, heavily involved in the Arab Spring protests, these international coordination activists, whatever you want to call it. This is all top tier pro stuff. I'm not saying the individuals involved in these chats are skilled. I'm saying someone who was built it and told them what to do. Seriously, the fact they have shifts, the fact that they do forensic cleansing, forensic hygiene, they know what they're doing. It is coordinated. Now, on the ground, the conservatives are mocking. We had the video of the lady whose hand is all flopping around because she picked up a flashbang. And they're laughing, being like, we're so much smarter than them. Man, y'all need to read Sun Tzu's Art of War. These people are just conservatives love to boast about if a civil war ever happened, we'd crush them. When I am strong, I appear weak. When I am weak, I appear strong.
Look, this is great analysis from Tim Pool, but he's too emotional, and he will put out sometimes 3 videos a day. He'll come back to his senses, but he's trying to warn us. Paul Revere might have been emotional too, by the way. The British are coming. We need people to be aware of what is actually going on.
And David, Trump knows. Trump knows what the heck is going on there. And he may, like I said, he always looks at the big picture. And if he has to pivot just a little bit for a time, you know what? He doesn't mind people disagreeing and squawking because he knows his ultimate end. So Tim Walz has not won anything.
No. He's a buffoon.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that's why he was a useful idiot. He's a useful idiot. He's not a useless idiot. The people out there protesting, so-called protesting, those are the useless idiots.
Can you imagine him and Kamala in the White House?
Oh my gosh.
Even this thought.
We would have gone back to the Stone Age with those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It would have been
We'd have
a
been
real
finished.
serious nightmare, a never-ending nightmare. And let me tell you something, though. It's not over yet.
No, it's not.
No, because we're
It's
coming
not,
up
David.
on this next phase
Mm-hmm.
of the operation, and this is why Trump is going out and having a Trumpalooza, the Lollapalooza,
Yeah.
a Trumpapalooza. He's going to start campaigning again, like today
For
in
the
Iowa.
midterms?
Yeah.
Awesome. Good
Oh
for
yeah.
him. My gosh,
he's
David.
on the campaign trail again.
Does anybody out there, is anybody not boggled at this man's energy?
Tim Pool says he's given up. That he can't.
No, that's ridiculous. He's going to go out and campaign in the middle of his presidency where he's handling all these globalists and anarchy at home. I mean, come on. There's just something really special about
Here's the problem
his
as I
ability.
see it. If people are not awake enough, and this is always going to be the case, if they're not awake enough to save their country, they deserve to lose it. I'm sorry, that's the truth. If they don't continue to support what's going on in this country, and if they don't pull their friends and their family and people that they know over into the light, we're going to deserve what we get, because this is a body politic, right? If a body gets cancer, there's something that has to happen for that body to recover, to survive.
Yeah, immune system has to be activated.
Yeah, exactly.
So really quickly, I did hear Trump say something that midterms, the sitting president party has only won the midterms twice in history. So he knows that people don't get out as much to vote at the midterms, and he's the one that brought them out to vote for him. So he's going to get out there and try to bring the people out to win the midterms. It's
That's
very
right,
smart.
because people resonate with him because he is one of us. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got another segment to go. Just make sure that your donations, those tax-deductible donations, help to keep this program going. It's really important. FHU.com or P.O. Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. You also are the key to us being successful. Okay. I'm going to come back with another Roy.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Anyone you resent, anyone that can make you resent them, can have the effect of making you trust them more than your own common sense. And that's what's being repeated inside you. That's the unfinished business. That's the echo of it. Follow?
I do. And that's true. That's very true.
So once you've learned to deal with the echo, let's call it the echo, then there's relief. At first, it's painful because you've always trusted it and had faith in it. But the trouble is, it always brings you to disaster, always brings you to suffering. But then there's a booby prize for that is being upset with yourself and then indulging in certain pleasures to soothe it all. And so the lower you sink in life, the more pleasant pleasure feels. And it becomes a way of life that is destitute of faith, but it doesn't matter because pleasures being more satisfying when you have no faith, it takes away all the pain and substitutes for what we call substitutes for faith.
Boy, he just described the protesters, every single last one of them. No faith, no relationship with something above themselves, and then they fall into the black gravity well of sin. And so then they escape into this weird dark side substance, which makes them feel good. Because being angry makes people feel good.
It's
When
an
they're
addiction.
angry, it's an opiate.
It is a weird addiction. I actually remember many years ago, listening to your dad and when I was here in Oregon early and, dating Alan and getting frustrated at him and sometimes dealing with things and just seeing the pull of this anger and how hard it was to step back from it. But I believed what your dad said about it. And I remember just kind of pulling back until it would dissipate. But it is a very a hard thing to resist. It's a hard thing to resist, is that immediate emotional reaction. But the reason why we can be pulled off is because we're not grounded anywhere else. We're grounded in other people. That's really it. And, when you read the scriptures and you read the promises of God and you receive them in your heart, you're grounded somewhere else. You're grounded in love. You're accepted. You're forgiven. So why take your eyes off of that to what somebody else is doing, knowingly or unknowingly, and become angry at it? Now you've given up your peace. You've given up the promise. It's like we're either going to look at the promise and receive it, or we're going to focus on the lies of people. So you have to choose. What are you going to put your faith in? What are you going to put your trust in? I was talking yesterday about the quote that says, if you are evil and you give good gifts to your children, then how much better is the Father who will give the Holy Spirit to anyone who asks? Anyone who asks. But if you aren't focused on that and you aren't truly believing it, and you're putting your faith and hope and your happiness, basing it on the people around you, you're going to be going up and down with the waves and you're not going to be grounded. You have to have something else grounding you, David, to be able to not be falling to that resentment all the time.
Well, Jesus said, know the truth and it will make you free. Now, I'm going to play the beginning of this clip again. Listen to this.
Okay.
Anyone you resent, anyone that can make you resent them, can have the effect of making you trust them more than your own common sense.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
And you see, the proclivity that we have is that when you feel powerless, what do you draw from? Do you draw from faith or do you draw from anger? And that's what people, they don't even realize that these people, when you see them out there fighting the ICE agents and fighting the law and order and reason, they only have anger. They don't have truth. And now they believe into what it is that gave them that fuel to go out and be violent and angry. It's very twisted. It's a very twisted up reality that these people live in. You can see it. I mean, many of them don't even look human.
And I think it all comes down to where you put your attention. If you really want to boil it down to one point, where are you putting your attention? If you're focused on all the things that make you miserable, you're going to be miserable. If you're focused on the promises of the Father, and you have to be more focused on the Spirit to do that.
So I'll give you a metaphor.
Okay.
Because when Allison and I were on our honeymoon, we took a cruise and we went out, to Alaska through the passage, and there were 30-foot waves. I mean, huge. And the boat was moving up and down, and I mean, literally 750 people on the boat got sick. Half the people on the boat were throwing up. But what I explained to her was this, and this is the principle, this is the takeaway for the show today. What I said to her is, we were standing in line waiting for the midnight buffet. I said, don't give in and don't resist. Now, if you can just digest that idea, because if you resist, you're giving energy to it. If you give in, you're allowing it to control you. If you can stay neutral about it, just stay right in between giving in and resisting. nothing can get to you. And we actually went in. We were like one of only maybe 100 people that went to the buffet that night. So it worked. It worked. All right. We are into the end of the show. Any last word?
Well, somebody on the chat said, who are you giving your attention to? So we'll leave that question out there.
All right. FHU.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. There it is.
Very good. Thank you all in the chats.
Interchats.
Yes.